Ebola is on the move and it's quick. We're now 100 days into the latest outbreak caused by an unusual strain of the virus, and it's spreading much faster than any previous Ebola epidemic. So far, there have been more than 5,000 cases and 2,000 deaths. So why are health workers on the ground struggling to contain it?
So Ebola is an infectious disease. There has been different strains. We've been used to Ebola Zaire, we've been used to Ebola Sudan, and Ebola Bundibujo specifically, it is the third time that it's occurred. Because these specific strains have not been occurring often, it has no vaccine, no treatment.
Trials for a vaccine are underway and have been set up in record time. And medicines are being tested both for people sick with the virus and those who have been exposed. But it could take months before we see any results.
The second thing with that specific strain of Bundibujo is that it's not affecting the human being the same way like Ebola Zaire. You will have fever, you will have vomiting, but the bleeding, which is kind of characteristic of Ebola, it's not appearing with Bundibujo. And therefore, people will just stay at home instead of moving to the hospital and to the treatment center.
In order to contain the virus, health workers need to be able to track everyone who's been in contact with a patient. But the current Bundibujo outbreak was first detected in the Ituri province of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where ongoing conflict has made contact tracing considerably harder.
For one case, we have 10 contacts. So that's the number of people that we have listed who has been exposed to the disease. But when we compare to other countries or other outbreaks, what we would expect is to have 40.
Spreading misinformation and mistrust in authorities also mean people aren't taking the precautions they should, particularly during burials.
And what is happening because of lack of trust and also because of cultural reason is that the people will keep their people deaf and they will bury them by themselves. This has been significantly improved, but the fact is that without that trust, they will not be willing to perform a safe and dignified burial. Therefore, continue the transmission of the disease within the community.
There have been protests from local people against some of the measures put in place by authorities to tackle the outbreak, including some attacks on workers and facilities. And those security concerns have also slowed down health officials' ability to respond and contain the outbreak. The virus has spread to neighbouring provinces in the eastern DRC and to Uganda, where 20 cases were reported in the capital Kampala. Medical teams there weren't faced with the same challenges as the teams in Congo, so they managed to contain the spread in under a month. You may also have heard reports of cases in Europe. These were international health workers who have been flown out from the DRC for treatment. Those cases are contained and closely monitored, so they are very unlikely to spread the virus to the wider population. Despite its geographic concentration, this is the fastest spreading outbreak of the disease we have ever witnessed. If we compare it to the 2014-2016 West Africa Ebola outbreak, which was the deadliest on record and killed more than 11,000 people, by the 100th day, 1,000 people had been infected by the virus. That's a fifth of the number of cases today. And the World Health Organization fears the outbreak could be 4 times larger than reported. The COVID-19 pandemic led to the creation of new plans on how to deal with major disease outbreaks, and this is one of the first tests.
If you compare this outbreak to previous Ebola outbreaks, we have been able to start trials more quickly.
But before medical treatments are available, teams on the ground are switching their approach.
So our push now is to move to what we call a village center approach. This is where we are going to win and stop that outbreak, is by making sure that the community is really leading the response to ensure that in the next coming months, we'll start seeing the curve being bent.